Okay, do I have your permission to record, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so on the phone right now is Dave BJORKMAN, the former head and still a leader of the Alberta Independence Party, leading independence for the Alberta province of Canada. Dave, how you doing? And what's been going on with the movement since last time we did an interview, sir?
Well, the party was hijacked. It's going through legal stuff right now, so I have resigned, but I'm building again. It's two three at their next election. Build a little bit different. From Brexit, because we're a Commonwealth country, and our elections now will eventually are the same as the original elections were, and then of course they're not, and say in that elections, not relational. They all have the same when it comes to the UK. So we're not Mitchell for largest group. He built three parties in the last 21 years, and the final party he did Brexit. He figured out the bill to be successful. Have upstarts people throughout the party. So I'm going to go with that build, and it's out of order from what our elections are. It's perfectly legal. So it's yeah, he had 21 years to vote that. Now they're giving it to me, so I'm going to do that in a brand new party. It can't be corrupted, right? So
Okay. So, how? Let's cover the big elephant in the room. Um, we're here in California. You're up there. All we see is news about West Canada secession, Wexit. Dave, what's your opinion about the Wexit movement?
the problem is it's the same thing that they did to you guys with Cali. They did the north and south. Now the problem is it would be like combining states, right? It'd be like California, Washington, and then the province of British Columbia, which is a movement. They call it,
Cascadia.
uh,
Cascadia.
yeah, Cascadia. And that's an illegal deal, right? You're dealing with multiple states who all have sovereign constitutional powers within a country, right? So it doesn't just work like that. Um, legally, both are constitutions, regardless USA or Canada. For Canada, for sure, we have to do it provincially, and each state has to do it regardless, right? So people talk about chopping up the states into cities or regions. I know Illinois. Did you hear that, or did I break up?
No, I heard that, and we have been hearing a lot about uh, Illexit, or basically the rest of Illinois is breaking off
Yeah,
from the Chicago region.
yeah, and then now that's kind of scrapped. So I talked to them. What had ended up happening is what you'll find with the major cities. Rural wasn't happy with the direction of Chicago specifically, and they wanted Chicago out. But the problem is Chicago finances most of the rural, right? The federal taxes that come back, it's actually Chicago subsidizing rural Illinois, right? So then all of a sudden, oh, geez, we don't want that, or we're going to have our taxes go up statewide, right? So that's kind of dissipated. Um, Wexit, the problem with Wexit is, again, we have Calgary and Edmonton, and I haven't looked at California municipality yet, but I know for Alberta, the province of Alberta, our two cities are the most pressed in all of Canada. Basically, every citizen of Calgary and Edmonton, they only get 7 cents on the dollar back from their federal taxes. So for every federal tax dollar it's collected from, an Edmontonian or Calgarian, only 7 cents comes back. So rural, it's about 14 cents. So city people have it twice as bad as rural Albertans. Not that they all don't have it bad here, but Calgary and Edmonton are getting it much worse. So municipal taxes get raised to make up the shortfalls. Right now, our province is underfunding municipalities. You broke up there.
No, I'm still here. We got everything. Captured
okay.
everything. It all came through. So, what is the... Tell me the top three, because we've talked about this before, but I'm not from there and I can't say anything. But what are the top three? Let me just get this out real quick. What are the top three problems with Wexit, in your professional opinion?
Well, the first is the Western narrative. I know you guys are very familiar with Cascadia, and the problem is BC does not want to separate half of it from bulk of the population. It's half the province, but a bulk of the population has absolutely no interest in separating, which is probably about 70% of the residents in BC. So you're never going to get a vote, right, from BC. Manitoba has the same problem. Their equalization receiving, so they get about $1.30 for every dollar they pay federally. They're paid federally $1.30 back. So you're never going to get Manitoba to vote for separation because they're subsidized, right? They don't.
Okay.
So all that leaves is Alberta and Saskatchewan. The other problem is Saskatchewan. There's rules in the world when the international community comes in. Now, in Canada, I know you've read now, and I watched your last podcast, but you read Canada's Clarity Act, and they say there's no international law for Quebec that gives any rules on succession, but there is. The problem is Quebec doesn't meet them. They just don't tell you what those are, and I found those, and those are you have to be culturally, financially, or politically oppressed. Quebec doesn't meet any of those. So when you go over to Saskatchewan now, they have a real serious problem. They're not culturally oppressed and they're not politically oppressed. They're 1.1 million people, and their representation for those 1.1 million is sitting about half. So they have half the representation, like comparatively to the other provinces, where Alberta is underrepresented, whereas Saskatchewan sits middle of the pack. So their Senate representation is about in the middle of the pack. When you look at every province in Canada, they're at about, right where a province should be. So they're not politically oppressed. They do pay a little bit of equalization, but it's very, very small. I don't know that it, technically it's financial oppression, but it's so very small compared to Alberta that it doesn't really compare, right? So I'm not entirely sure Saskatchewan can win. They can't win on political oppression. They definitely don't win on cultural oppression, and they have some financial, but I don't know what that weighs when you look at world oppression statistics, whereas California, Alberta, we do measure up. Okay, wow. And the other problem, the problem with Wexit is you're not going to get a legal Western separation. Alberta can get that all on its own legally, but a Wexit for provinces can never achieve that. So they're right now, they say they have 250,000 Facebook people. There's been accusations that was farmed out from Russia, right? And some Soviet marketing groups. So are you ready for this, though?
Yeah, please.
They did, because I went through a signature drive here in Alberta to get the Alberta Independence Party. To put it in perspective, you have to have 10,000 certified Albertans sign a petition in first person, as in door knocked. You have to door knock to get 10,000 Albertans to sign your petition to become a party, okay? And you need 88, but the Elections Alberta wants you to overshoot that because they call each and every person on that signature drive, okay? And if they can't get a hold of them, they strap it. So they tell you better come with, you can come with about 9,500, but they won't even look at you underneath that. But they recommend 12,000. So with my party, we did do our signature drive, even though that's not how we got status. We did it during election period with more than 50% of our constituencies covered, right? So we did that. We had 63 out of 87, and they gave us status. But we got 9,500 signatures, and we went door to door. We did everything. So to put in perspective, for Alberta's provincial registry of Wexit, they only have 1,700 signatures. It's already 4 months in. Out of their 250,000 supposed Alberta followers, they're only able to get 1,700 signatures. So there's a major problem, right? It doesn't compute. So the activity they have on social media, there's something wrong, right? And I know this because it shows in votes, right? Like our signature drive matches how many votes we got in the election. You know what I mean? And obviously, they're where I was at my 4 month mark, so they're not having as much success, right? I mean, they have all the media and they have a bunch of funding from the Manning Center group. That not the Manning Center. I shouldn't say that. That's wrong. But the Preston Manning, he was a federal leader at one time for the Reform Party. And I know that they got that media and that PAC money behind them, but it's not translating, you know what I mean, into real Albertans. So, I mean, what good is it if you don't have the provincial party, right? And the signature drive's only good for a year. They scrap it at the end of 12 months. They scrap all your signatures and make you redo it. So, that's why I did the election period year, right, a year before the election. But, and then there's more too. They make a lot of claims. None of them are true. To update you guys, I'm actually meeting with First Nations from the Blackfeet, southern Alberta, all the way through to the America, right? So going through, basically, it works out to central USA, a couple of states there, right? Following the belt of the Rockies. So it's going to be quite interesting. First Nations has really liked my presentation, and it's growing right across now the U.S. So I don't know what I can really do for them, but I'm going to meet with them, and I guess we'll see. So,
would you be up for debating people from Wexit if I was able to somehow get them to agree to that?
we could do it, but I'm going to be honest with you here, and
Sure.
I really like you guys, Marcus. It's not about, like, I don't care about different political spectrums. The problem with Brexit is they basically consumed all the alt-right people, and a lot of business people that initially got on board with that are coming towards me. And now that's the conservative side, right, for us here in Alberta. And, I know you guys know what alt-right is, but if you ever, come up to Alberta or you watch the social media, you're going to see exactly what tinfoil hat alt-right is. And it is kind of the lower education. It's not to be offensive. Like, I mean, it's my people, right? And I guess you could say I'm not hillbilly Albertan. I like to say I'm the educated hillbilly. But, you come up here and, like, we're way up north, isolated, right? Like, it's different. And there's a lot of people that, they watch InfoWars, right? They're kind of isolated. And, that's not all right. I'm not saying
Yes.
racist. I'm just saying
Yeah.
there's a lack of education there. They're just not well learned. And it's kind of like this cell phone call we're having. For me, to make a call to the States, it costs us an astronomical amount of money compared to you guys. The plans are different, right? So is rural Alberta for our cable and everything else, internet access. It's really hard for rural Alberta. Like, just my parents alone, they're not far from, major cities. That's just how it is here in Alberta and Canada. The communication system is really, really poor, right? And
Sure.
there's not a whole lot we can do about that. So you do have a hard time reaching Albertans. There's a ton that, you can, it's kind of like Deliverance in the States, that old movie. Well, that's a lot of Alberta, really, right?
But ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, right? I mean, not that, it's, sorry guys, I got the GPS here, but yeah, no, that's kind of how it is. So
Okay.
you know,
Okay. Well,
it's
I had to
they
ask.
have a lot of. It's just they do a lot of. They trump it up too, and it's a small part of an electorate. And you know what? The media eats it up because just that whole deliverance thing, and that's how they want to portray Albertans, and it's actually really sad. So I don't really. I love Alberta. I love my people, and I take it as is. But you know what I mean? It'd be kind of like the media painting you guys a certain way, and it's just not the case. Not
Oh,
the
yeah.
mainstream.
I know what you mean, brother. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
and that Peter Downing, he really pushes that narrative, and the media soaks it up. So I don't like Alberta being represented like that. And it's not. I have no ill will with Peter, and I get what he's trying to do in some respects, but he
Okay.
sorry, he exploits a lot of that. He exploits it, and they eat it up, and the media loves it. And it isn't right by Albertans. So I'm not. I wouldn't want to participate in that honestly, but
Okay.
you know,
Well, let me ask you. Closing uh, links. Where would you like people to contact you? Where can they read more about you? Is there certain things you want them to think about?
Facebook, Twitter. You can give out my phone number. You'd be surprised how many Americans call me, and I get a lot from Texas. But I'm not that. I view myself as a centrist, but I have conservative principles and I have left principles. We try to make something for everybody here, and and I mean, I talk to you guys, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you seem the same way, Marcus. Like you're really well rounded. I think that it's like it was really well said today by a person on social media, and I shared the post that it's tribalism, this left and right, and it wasn't always that way. I don't know if you've read much of Hunter S. Thompson, but he was an avid individual rights champion, gun rights champion, but he was an extreme Democrat in other ways too, right? I mean, that was the 70s. He was a great journalist and writer in his own right. And, I think people can be brought together a little better. And it seems like that's the media narrative. If you're left, it's very radical left. If you're right, and you have to be radical right. And that's what they want to exploit, right? Like the center is left completely ignored, right? That's kind of the silent majority, I believe, anyway. But
That's
you
what's
know,
going on here.
yeah. And you know what? I know you guys are getting ignored, and they try to paint a whole different narrative that isn't correct. And I don't know what to say to change that, Marcus. I'm going to write a couple books. If you guys like them, make sure you get a copy.
Oh, yeah.
Jump on board, get in there, and and this is how we spread the word. And I don't know. It's I know for trade and getting to port access, Alberta might just have to go to California. And the many Albertans are like, oh, we're not going to California. And California might try to say that too, but realistically, these are viable options. And I was trying to get into Atlanticism. If you look that definition up in the dictionary, you're going to find the Bilderberg Group, and it's not tinfoil hat. It's just wealthy
okay.
Americans and United Kingdom people that have these strong trade routes from the east. Well, that doesn't really help California, Washington, BC, and all of Western Canada and Western United States. Right? We're paying a boatload more to get our products to a market that we're getting taxed forever loving Jesus, I guess is the term I would use, like they tax the hell out of us. That's where we get into why we're losing all the special funding and we keep paying into a system that's absorbed east, right? And it's not fair, and
Okay.
we
Okay.
need to get access out to Asia, and California needs it too. There's some good stuff I presented that shows you California's got 40 million people, but you're not trading to Asia either, really. You know, a lot of it goes south or somewhat east and it's sold out east.
Okay, well, I got to go in about 2 minutes. So, is there last minute website where people can find you? What's your email or phone number?
My email is Dave D as in Victor, John is J BJORKMAN, so Dave DJ BJORKMAN at gmail.com. I'm not sporting a website right now. I have it, but it's in legal action right now. We got our RCMP and Federation of Police investigating all the party stuff. I'm not in any trouble, but you know what? I'm just not going after that right now. It's going to be a couple of years investigation for, you know, unfortunately it's corruption and what people do, but Brexit's suffering it too, and almost every political party goes through it here in Canada, and it's the way it's built. It's a United Kingdom system. It's really not very democratic at all, Marcus. It's not like how you build a party in the States. I was really blown away, even just how a state builds a party. I'm like, wow, I could build a party easy in the States, but, you know, it's not like that here. We got, you know, it really is kind of age empire system. It's king and queen thing, and it's not good, right? It's based on that system, right? Monarchy system, and it's not good, not democratic at all. So a guy doesn't really find that out until you've built the legal party, and you find out it's in the hands of a few who can run away with it, really. And there is no democracy. Not here in Canada, not for political parties.
Okay. Well, Dave, let me ask you for a favor, if I could.
Sure.
We have been trying to get a hold of people in the Illinois movement, and no luck. If you know anybody or have talked to anybody in the Illinois independence movement, could you forward them an email, mention me, something like that? I'd love to talk to them.
I have, Marcus, I have, and I'm going to just tell you, in the last 3 months since we did our thing, and I talked to them briefly, and you know what? It's been abandoned. It's gone silent because, again, they wanted Chicago to separate from Illinois. This is rural Illinois saying we want Chicago out, and here's the problem. Financially, Chicago is subsidizing rural Illinois by quite a bit.
I understand. I'm just saying that if whoever...
It's crushed the movement. I can give you the names and stuff, but
please.
I haven't heard anything since we went through all that. Like, I went through that with them. And you know what? You can check out the publications. They've scrapped, I noticed they scrapped the Facebook page, and they're not returning nothing. But I can give you the contact information. But that's what I figure has happened.
Okay.
Is that the realization that they need Chicago, and they're kind of they're out of luck here, you know.
Sure. So, if you could just send me whatever you got, I'd really appreciate it.
I will do that.
Last request. You had a contacts with a professor here in America. Siebler. Mark Seidel. I would still love to talk to him. If you could mention me to him or anything.
I did, but you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to email him their contact information. He's gone all over the world, and he's writing a book on independence movements.
Perfect.
He was the one who actually told me about you. So I'm surprised he hasn't really met with you guys yet. But, yeah, he travels all over. But he may be in Australia right now. But I know he's coming this spring to come meet with me in the spring again. But I'll give you his contact information and his phone number. I'll do that. I'll send that to you.
Yeah, I'd really appreciate that. And if you wouldn't mind mentioning me again. And just also, I really appreciate it. Just because I found that a personal contact opens doors. I could call, email,
And you're gonna
Facebook, get nothing. I
yeah,
get one person to just go,
yeah,
yeah, this guy's reasonable. Suddenly you get a totally different response.
yeah, and you know what? What the problem is what's happening with Brexit and what they've done with me. Mark Seidel was interested in me because of the legal path, and he's a lawyer. And he looked at the six that are legal in the world, and he was talking about you guys, but I think he's got the wrong narrative over Cascadia, which is out to lunch, right? And that's what you don't want. And I can see you go up. So I don't know why they're confusing you with that, but you need to get a hold of somebody there. I'll make sure you talk to Mark Sedal. I'll say
I
he's not
appreciate it.
Cascadia and he's not north and south. Get the point. So it's really it's California exit, right? Like,
Yes,
right?
yes. And you know the game. There's so much misinformation. I mean, people will go on TV and lie about you. Straight up. And they will never take it back and they will never correct it. I mean, Rachel Maddow went on TV and said Donald Trump was financially backing us and the Republican Party and the people from Brexit, which is a complete lie. But she said it, never took it back. You have a hell of a time getting liberals out here in California to go, that's not true. So, I mean, yeah, somebody just says whatever they want, and people believe it. And I haven't figured out a way to get correct information out there. So, I hear you. I really hear you. It is a sad, sad day for democracies when we cannot even agree upon basic facts in the left news, not even the alt-right. I see the mainstream left misinform people and straight up lie, just like the alt-right. And it makes me sad because I'm a liberal. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about.